moved into a small rental house in Columbus in early October of 2021. It was a quiet neighborhood, mostly families, a few older couples. Nothing ever really happened there. About a week after I moved in, I started noticing a man sitting in a parked car directly across the street. At first, I didn't think much of it. Maybe he lived nearby or was waiting for someone, but what caught my attention was how long he stayed there, sometimes for hours. On October 14th, I remember the time clearly, around 9:40 p.m. I was in my living room watching TV when I glanced out the window and saw him again. Same car, same spot. This time his headlights were off, and the engine wasn't running. He was just sitting there in complete darkness. I couldn't see his face, but I could tell he was looking toward my house. I shut the curtains that night. After that, I started noticing small things. My trash bin would be slightly moved from where I left it. Once, my side gate was unlatched, even though I always made sure to lock it. Then one morning, I found footprints in the dew on my front lawn. They didn't come from the sidewalk. They started right outside my living room window. I called the police, but without any real evidence. They just told me to stay alert. A few nights later, I heard something outside my bedroom window around 2 a.m. It sounded like someone stepping on dry leaves. I froze and didn't move. Then I heard breathing, not loud, but close enough that I knew someone was right outside. I grabbed my phone and called 911. While I was on the line, the sound suddenly stopped. When officers arrived, they checked around the house. Nothing, no one. The next morning, I finally worked up the courage to check outside. Right beneath my bedroom window, pressed into the dirt, were fresh footprints, and right next to them, a cigarette butt. I don't smoke, neither do any of my neighbors. That same night, I checked across the street again. The car was gone. I never saw it after that. But even now, I still sleep with my curtains closed. Back in 2019, I was selling some old furniture on Craigslist before moving apartments. On June 3rd, around 6:15 p.m., a guy came to look at a bookshelf I had listed. He seemed normal at first, maybe mid-30s, quiet, polite. He barely spoke, just nodded a lot. He didn't end up buying anything. What I didn't realize at the time was that he had seen everything. My layout, where my bedroom was, where I kept things. 2 days later, I started getting texts from an unknown number. At first, they were simple. "Is the shelf still available?" I told him it was sold. Then the messages changed. "I like your place." I didn't respond. Then, "You live alone, right?" That's when I blocked the number. That same night, around 11 p.m., I heard a knock at my apartment door. I didn't answer. Then my phone buzzed. "Open the door." My heart dropped. I stayed completely silent. After a minute, the knocking stopped. I thought that was it. But around midnight, I heard something coming from my bedroom window. A light tapping sound. I slowly walked over and looked through the blinds. He was standing outside, just staring in. I immediately called the police. By the time they arrived, he was gone. I filed a report and stayed with a friend for a few nights. A week later, my landlord called me. He said someone had tried to access my apartment using a copied key. The lock showed signs of tampering. I moved out before the end of the month. To this day, I still don't sell anything from my home. work night shifts, so I usually get home pretty late, around 1 a.m. On February 8, 2024, I pulled into my apartment complex parking lot at about 1:20 a.m. That's when I noticed the car. A dark sedan, parked a few spaces away from mine. The engine was running, and someone was inside. Again, I didn't think much of it. But the next night it was there again. Same spot, same time, engine running. That's when it started to feel off. On the third night, I decided to test something. I stayed in my car for a few minutes before getting out. The other car didn't move, but I could feel it. Someone inside was watching me. I got out and walked toward my building. As soon as I reached the entrance, I heard a car door open behind me. I turned around. The driver had stepped out. He didn't say anything, just stood there. I quickly went inside and locked the door behind me. The next few nights, the car kept showing up. Always when I got home, always with the engine running. Then one night, it wasn't in the parking lot. Instead, it was parked directly across from my apartment building, facing my window. That same night, I got a notification from my phone. My Wi-Fi had a new device connected. I hadn't added anything. I unplugged my router immediately. The next morning, I checked my car before leaving for work. There was a small scratch near the driver's side door. At first, I thought it was nothing. Then I noticed something else. A tiny piece of black tape, and underneath it, a small square-shaped indentation, like something had been attached there. I reported everything to the police. They told me to be careful and document anything else. I started parking in different spots every night after that. About a week later, the car stopped showing up completely. No more sightings, no more strange activity. But sometimes when I get home late and sit in my car for a moment, I still catch myself checking the mirrors, just in case that car comes back.